Thank you for having me. Real pleasure to be with you this morning for you, evening for me. I'm Izzeldin Bukhari from the old city of Jerusalem, Palestine. I was raised in the old city and I spent 7 years living in the United States of America. And over there, I discovered my passion for cooking, being away from all the good hummus and falafel that we have here in the old city. When I went to America, I realized I miss it, and that's what to start my curiosity to cook food and to replicate these flavors. And I fall in love with the process. So I'm a chef today. I have a company called Sacred Cuisine, being functioning for 7 years. I focus on telling the Somi food story, the Somi Palestinian food story. When I refer to Somi food, it is basically the food that's suitable for the Lent, the Christian fasting.
Mm, mhm,
This, this practice influence our table, and that's why falafel came to life. Falafel came as a dish from the fasting, and there is so much culture that's come in the vegan, vegetarian, Somi culture. So I decided to focus in my work in sacred cuisine, talking about the vegan, vegetarian, Palestinian food, and I do it through cooking classes, food tours in the old city of Jerusalem, and also a private chef and other activity, which is also sometimes talk to different people, like giving a lecture about Palestinian food. So yeah, I'll be sharing with you tonight some stories about certain dishes, culture, and I'm sure I will also talk about, some other things as far as my life or my family life or such. Yes, that's exactly today. It feels like a celebration, even though the time here it's very hard. And since the beginning of since the beginning of the war, that was the first time that I feel this good of feelings. It's because my sister, who is live in Gaza, she was there since she's lived there, so of course she was there since 7th of October, and we've been trying to get her out from Gaza, her and other family members and her husband and such, for like 2 months now. But
mhm,
today we were able to get my sister out. So I
mm.
literally just came back from a journey which we left in 6 o'clock in the morning, and we came back 6 p.m. And but we have my sister, and it's such a relief, and
Mm.
it feel like a dream, to be honest with you. I have to, wake up again to this and just make sure that's a reality. Because I want something to take me to a better place from where I
Mhm,
was. And I didn't create Sacred Cuisine because I'm sacred, because I'm a vegetarian, because I'm vegan, because I eat only healthy food, because I'm very spiritual or such. No, I created this initiative to become all of these things and to help me through this process. But the idea started as a sacred cuisine, and why I called it sacred cuisine is I wanted to combine my Sufi roots, even though I'm not religious, but I found through food a lot of sacredness. And also the Sufism aspect, it is something built on meditation and worshiping out of love and such. So I really like this idea, even though I'm not religious, and also for my love for Palestine and for cooking good food and healthy food. So I wanted to kind of take all of these and put them in a cluster, which is allow me and help me to focus on all the process and how I'm doing this, and pay attention to the process and try to do better, and minimize on doing the bad things, or doing the negative things. So
mm,
that was like the whole idea why I wanted to create sacred cuisine, and like minimize on using the plastic, maximize on using natural stuff, talk about the Sufi aspect, approach things with more details, and paying attention where things coming from, what type of energy is put in into entity or a food or ingredient. So it's a bit of a broad subject, you know. And to be honest, when I started Sacred Cuisine, I didn't know how much sacredness and food have to do with each other, and how much
Mm,
spirituality and food have to do. But the more I proceed, the more I find these stories, and to see how the connection between meditation and sacredness and food. And actually, that's why we have a diet. That's why we have kosher. That's why we have halal. It is
mhm,
because even religions, when they wanted to uh, to come and talk to you about belief, they still talk about diet, because just to emphasize and just to kind of show how much it's important. Because what we eat become part of us, and if we have a good food, our mind is
mm.
healthy. If not, our body is busy processing this junk food. So this is something very important also to understand. That's the Arab world of what we see today. It is something was designed by Europe, by the West, in the last 100 years, let's say more or less. But before this, all these borders, all these flags, all these countries, some of them were not even relevant. And why I'm saying this? I'm saying this because before, the Arab world didn't wasn't divided to that many of countries. These many of countries came from the West to kind of create a new dictatorships, basically, and give new leaders to control a strategic area which fall between some Christians, some Muslims, some different group of people. So there is a conflict. So that's why the Arab world map today is designed. But before this, the we had we call Bilad al-Sham, the Levant, basically, and it is basically Syria, what is now Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, and Palestine. This is was like all into one region, and in this region, all of us we share the same food, and this food, as you can see, it is very shared. So there is so many dishes that we share, such as falafel, hummus, and such. But if you want to take more depth on the Palestinian cuisine, because each place got its own dishes as well, with all these collective dishes that they share. The Palestinian cuisine, I would say, it is very much on improvising and utilizing. They are very creative in taking different kind of ingredient, and also not waste from it a lot and use it. So for example, fava bean. Fava bean, it's something that people eat all over the world, and they plant it in many places. But here in Palestine and also in the Arab world, we eat it with the husk, with the green bud, which is a lot of people don't, because it requires more work to take the strength, these lines that are a bit tough. So it take a lot of work to prepare it. In our culture, they will do the extra bit of time so they don't waste. And I think this is coming from a region that's always surrounded by war, whereas people they try to survive, and this practice, it created simple dishes, yet very creative, and also utilizing as much as possible. So I would say that would give more edge to the Palestinian cuisine. Love to cook Romania. It's because hummus and makluba are known. Let's say they are more known, but when you come to the Romania, not a lot of people know about it. So it is like most of the time when I'm cooking it, it's like people are getting introduced to it. So I'm having opportunity to tell the story of the Romania and the political aspect connected to it, and it is very interesting dish how it is coming as an ingredient, because if I tell you the ingredient, it does not really sound that appetizing, but it's made out of eggplant, lentils, and tahini and pomegranate. And like even these combination of things, uh, like if someone tell me, even as a chef, I won't even know what to make with them. But this dish, it's that amazing creativity of vegan food in our culture, and it's come with a lot of proteins, and yet the flavor is amazing. It's got the tangy of the pomegranate, it's got the tahini, it's got the dill seeds. So Romania. I would say at least as far as the spices and as far as the palate and how they combine spices, it is like one of the fine palettes how they pull up spices together. So I'm still learning and fascinated by this idea, and there is like really very interesting science and good taste that they were able to bring these flavors together. But
Mm,
what I would say that our spices is basically our treasure because also everybody know like with a certain spice you can cook the same ingredient, but with having different spice can become like a different dish.
yeah.
But here the taking the spices and toast them and actually what we call in Arabic qadha or adha, and it translates literally to a spark. And this is why it's called a spark. It's a spark because it is like the first step to start cooking, to start the
Mm,
recipe. You got to do the atha. And the atha, it will be usually out of ghee or oil and some spices, chili, garlic, depends on what the dish. But for most of the time, it will have garlic and it will have some dishes. And then they cook this, either they start the dish with it or they'll be cooking dish such as the mani, and then they will do the toasting and add it to it. Uh, Makluba, it is one of the most interesting stories because the dish makluba take its name in the old city of Jerusalem, and it happened. Well, the name of the dish first, it was called bitinjaniye. Bitinjan in Arabic mean eggplant. Bitinjaniye means something eggplanty. It because it was made out of rice and eggplant and meat. But that was the only vegetable used. So that was the name of the dish. That was how the dish was cooked and served till Salah ad-Din Ayyubi. He came over here and he fought with the Crusaders. And after he defeated the Crusaders, the people of the old city they wanted to celebrate, so they brought food to Salah ad-Din and to his army. And he had a headquarter which is still existed today in the Christian quarter in the old city of Jerusalem. So people took the food and everybody was eating together and celebrating. And after they finished eating the food and all the food was gone, Salah ad-Din was entreated by the Bitinjani at the time. And he was asking people, what's the name of that dish? And because the food was not on the table anymore, they were like, which dish? And he described it by saying the flipped dish, the makluba. And because he's a famous figure and the name is catchy, makluba mean upside down. So this is became what was taught people to call the dish instead of bitinjaniya. They start to call it makluba. And from that also moment, the name of the dish changed, but also the ingredient list restriction got lifted. So it's not anymore with eggplant. Now people add cauliflower, can add different vegetable, and now wherever you go in Palestine, as I said, it's where you eat it, it will have a different vegetable. So this is actually another aspect for our recipes. For example, you come here to the old city, you eat hummus at the restaurant, you go just opposite or next to him, and it will be similar but still different. And I think this is another beautiful mechanism in the recipe itself. So it is more diversity even in the recipe. Honest, this is like one of the things that's especially in my career and especially in Palestine, it really hurt me the most. It is because there is this thing have been going on since not just now, since long time, and every year it's becoming more and more. As I said, the Palestinian are waiting to harvest these olives, and of course, as you can understand, these olives are in lands. It's not like in their backyard. So many farmers have lands which inherited by their grandfathers or families, and they also inherited the olive originally. Of course, they added some planted some, but most of the olive coming from family to family, and each family taking care of their olive, and they are in lands around their village. And Palestine, for who don't know, it is very controlled, especially in geographic form. which mean depends where you are, it can affect where you can move. So if you are born in Jerusalem, you can move around. If you are born in the West Bank, you can only move around the West Bank. If you are born in Gaza, you are only allowed to move in Gaza. So it's change from person to person. But for most of the olive oil, it is in the West Bank, and these settlers, they are becoming a gang of mobs, and they will wait for this season to terrorize and to basically stop or steal or burn or cut olive trees and even kill farmers. And just to kind of remind everybody, these are farmers who literally don't want to be in a conflict, don't want to go and throw a stone or confront a soldier or a settler. They just want to go to their olives. But when they go to their olives, these people are waiting for them. They're waiting for them, and they have a full authority to do whatever they want with these farmers. They beat them, they kill them, they can do anything. And and also, if there is a police or army Israeli next to the settlers, unfortunately, they support them. It's not like even they try to stop them. They even like will be over there just to ensure if anybody did anything to the settler, so the soldier can like stop them. And there is nothing more heartbreaking to me when I see olive tree, 5,000 years old, 3,000 years old, 2,000 years old, getting burned and getting cut by a person who is not even maybe 50 years or not even 100. Like how much you own from expertise about on this earth when you destroy a tree thousands of years because of your ideology, which is does not even compare in the span of life. So it is something very devastating, something really hard to break in, and especially this season. Especially this season, it's terrifying. But I feel that if you are a human brought to this earth, one of the common thing to do is to take care of this earth. And this is not because you're supposed to be the great hero and taking care of things. It's because this land, it really give you what you need, give you what you need from food, water, and even like oxygen, So I see that we are careless about what was provided to us, and we are don't see the abundance that was gifted to us. Yeah, our dessert is more tied to occasion. So different type of dessert, they came for different occasion. And when we eat them for most of the time in their occasion. So for example, you mentioned a great example, ma'mul. Ma'mul, it's made out of semolina, ghee or butter, and it's stuffed with the dates or with walnuts, pistachio, or different nuts. And this dish we make into the Eid, the holidays, the holiday. This is when we make the ma'mul. For example, we have also a taif. A taif is it's like something similar to pancake, small pancake, but we stuff it with the cheese or with nuts, and we deep fry it or we bake it. And this dessert, a taif, we eat it in Ramadan. Uh, if you go around the old city, you in Ramadan you will see it everywhere, but after Ramadan you will see it maybe in one shop, two shop. Also for ma'mul, also for different type of a dessert. So our desserts are tied to a occasion. I would say that's I see cooking as an archive of uh, our ancestors. Through these recipe and through these dishes, our ancestor find a way how to work with the land, how to be harmonious with
Mm.
the land, how to utilize the land, and what the land has to offer them, what they can make from it. This is, of course, was more relevant when our ingredients were local, not just like bunch of important things. And that's why it is crucial to what is local, because all of these dishes came to life. It's because these things are suitable for you to eat because they are grow in your own region and in your area. And this recipe that we eat today and we love, just to remind you, it was improvising and utilizing it from one of our ancestors who they figure out to combine this with that, and this is what it brought it to a life and it became a dish. Of course there was trials which they didn't make it to a dish, but all these experiences, all the best top result have been it transformed to us. And that's what I find interesting about cooking. It is because it's archived from our ancestor, but we are getting the best of these experiences because we are getting the real deal dishes, and the things didn't work out, you don't even know about them, you know. So I see cooking and recipes, it's improvising by our ancestor. And that's why it is important to know your food history, because through your food history, you can trace your ingredient. If you trace your ingredient, you can trace even the farming habits and what type of uh, things they decided to plant and why and such. And that's what you are, guys. You are a community of your own, you know. In this community, I don't know what's your values, but I can connect to some of it according to what we speak. But you decided to come together and emphasize importance aspect and minimize effort on a certain things according to your belief, you know. And the community is what made humanity to exist, not countries, not politic. Money, politic, weapons, all of this, we can drop them and we can just go to the land and harvest it with tomato, take care of the cats and the sheeps and such, and all of us, we can gather our food, process our food, and sit down and process this food together, you know, and sing and do meditation and then cook and eat. And it is, we still do that, you know, but unfortunately, it's becoming, even this part of it becoming less and less and less. Okay, thank you very much. I'm really happy to be with you tonight. Thank you for allowing this to happen, to be with you. And I'm Izzeldin
Mm.
Bukhari from Sacred Cuisine. You can find Sacred Cuisine on Facebook, Instagram, my website. And if anybody have any question or such, feel free to contact me. And yeah, I really hope your event will go great and we will enjoy the food. And thank you so much for taking the time and effort to bring all these wonderful people together so you can talk about something and support because, you know, it's very hard right now, and I really appreciate, especially every support you give, which is for an institution or a side that's dedicated to work on a human side.